the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is EdTech, your monthly podcast for education and higher ed related tech. I'm your host, Bill O'Donnell. I'm joined by Mike Tomei.
Hey, Bill. How are you?
Hey, good. And Mr. Ernie Bailey. How are you, sir?
Bill, I'm doing great.
That's good. So we've got some of our topics here. The first one I'm going to start off with is an interesting bit. I'd say it's a little bit of a misleader of a headline, but it's still a good one. That is, Commercial Integrator did an article with Dave Labuskis, in which he said direct-to-consumer products might actually be good for things. I read the article. I took it away as it's partially true, but even Dave said, we're talking like 1 in 10 products. I'm not going to lie. There are some things that I think are true about that. I mean, look at how Apple put out the iPad, and for the longest time, Crestron, AMX, even Extron were very big on their touch panels, and now pretty much all of them have said, "Oh yeah, you want to use an iPad? We can work with that. We can deal with that." Ernie, what do you say?
Well, we all like to see out of the box stuff work, but as you mentioned, maybe 1 out of 10 times. You have to have a very generic system to make those kind of things work. You still need the programming behind it to really make a good AV system.
Well, and you're right with that one in that there are some things like, there are some stuff that they every now and then you have like folks like Extron who go and say, oh, look, here, it works right out of the box. Well, right. It does, but if you want it to be kind of plug and play or here you go, you need to have a little bit more oomph or a little more programming into it.
Exactly. We see that, and we're always hearing that, Crestron's newest package does not require programming. You just plug your devices into it and it figures out what it's going to do. Well, yeah, exactly. It figures out what it thinks you want to do. But if you want to make it really do everything and anything for your system, you still need to go in and write your own code. We've heard about it. Yeah, you can take an iPad app and run your AV system. Well, if you've written your AV system, take the iPad. It's not really plug and play at that point. It still requires customization.
Oh yeah, Mike, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I think this conversation comes up often over the years of how manufacturers are selling to eventually getting product to the end users. AV industry has really been big on their dealer model for many years. And it seems like the manufacturers are really now starting to be comfortable going around the dealers for a lot of items. Over the years, we saw a lot of manufacturers like Panasonic or NEC that were like traditionally dealer only, all of a sudden popping up on these big box websites like B&H maybe, or Full Compass. All of a sudden you're seeing them selling some of their products on there. They still have certain projector lines or product lines that they sell through dealers only, but that's becoming fewer and fewer lines. You see a lot of these on these sites now, so they're kind of going around the dealers, and especially troubling maybe when you see your quotes come in from your dealers for projects, and then you look at B&H and the products are cheaper there. So that really shows you that these manufacturers are not really valuing the dealer models like they used to, maybe.
I'll back you up on this one in the fact that NEC still offers like the Star Student program, and every now and then we'll have integrators come in, and they'll, if it's a bid project or something like that, and they go, you should really sign up with us because that Star Student program is ending soon, and I go, really, okay. I'll be sure to take that in mind. But
Yeah.
it's them trying to still create revenue. Now, does that mean that NEC is cutting them out of the picture? No, but they know that, listen, if they cut a better deal with the education folks, you build brand loyalty. And I won't lie, on campus we're pretty much entirely an NEC house. It's just building brand loyalty with that one. But go on.
Yeah, I think over the years the manufacturers are really directly targeting the end users more now by, for example, creating marketing reps that target educational institutions only, kind of going right around the dealers there. So you have direct contact with the marketing rep from the manufacturer. And then also a lot of them are implementing these system design services where the end user can contact them directly and get system design, not going through an integrator. So I think a lot of that just kind of shows that the manufacturers are really just fine going around those dealers sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's for example, I know Crestron, they're very good at their stuff. They will offer a design system. I happen to know some of the folks at a Ivy League school a little bit south of here that they do exactly that. They pitch the stuff to Crestron and they said, hey, we have this specialized room. We want to do X, Y, and Z. And then Crestron went, sure, no problem. Here you go. Yep. Here's the design. And they're doing all the programming in-house, which is great. But if you hear that from an integrator, you're just going, oh well, that's the as I say, there went all my money. But at the same time, it's the manufacturer saying, here, we're trying to get away from the idea of just here's some gray boxes, here you go. It's more of here we're trying to offer you solutions, and I think to a certain degree that's really more of the point of trying to go direct to the consumer. It's not we're just going to sell you a box. It's here's the complete solution, here's the complete care, and that's I think that's more of what Dave might have been getting at, more than just oh, here we're going to sell directly to the folks. It's not like you're going to see you're not going to see a Crestron you're not going to see like AMX selling directly on like Amazon. I mean, if you do, it's probably through like a yeah.
Yep.
So.
And I think too, also, Crestron is making a big push with their .AV framework, saying no programming needed. You can configure it. You can configure your touch panel and your basic switcher out of the box, and you don't have to hire a programmer. That probably angered a lot of dealers that have been making a lot of money on Crestron programming over the years and really pushing Crestron's products for them. But Crestron's making a really big push with that now, and others have too. It's not just them. Extron was always really big on the configuration versus programming sort of thing, and so they're really comfortable kind of giving the end users pre-made programming now.
Oh yeah, no. Go ahead, Ernie.
I was going to say that kind of goes back to where we started on this, in that it will work without programming. You can use the AVNet and put your system together, but it's not a customized package. It's not designed for your space. It's not looking at your user's needs. So you still need that. And we kind of do a hybrid. We don't buy the big AV products from CDW or B&H or Full Compass like that. We still go to a dealer, even though we have our own integration team, our own programmer. I still prefer to deal with a dealer. I'm willing to pay a little bit more, and I have a little bit better network. If something fails, I have a network I can go back through and say, here, you take care, get this back to the manufacturer, get me an advanced ship mode 1. Yes, for some of the products I can call the manufacturer and do it direct, but generally they still want to know who you bought it from.
Yeah, it's good in the because we've had it where we tried to RMA something through Crestron, and it was like, oh well, we're gonna have to put this on wait, and we'll get to you, and they did take care of it. However, some of the other stuff in which we've bought it from some of our known integrators, because Ernie, we still do the same thing here.
Right.
We'll install the stuff ourselves, but we have a list of vendors that we know. We talk to these guys, and yes, some stuff every now and then, including a video conferencing unit, came dead out of the box.
Yeah.
We called them up and said, hey, this has got to go back. This has got to get replaced. They did advanced replacement, no questions asked. Just went, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
We'll take care of the RMA.
That's what we like. I like having a person who comes by every now and then and checks to see how we're doing. They realize they're not getting the engineering and the programming money they used to get, but they're still they're still putting their markup on the hardware. And all the ones in the market
maintaining
are
a
playing the
relationship.
same game with us. So it's fair across the board. We've got several integrators that, like I said, we're using them as box houses, but we're using them as enhanced box houses, if you will. I don't have to call a manufacturer that I'm not familiar with and say, how do I get a demo of this product? I can call one of my dealers and say, hey, are you a dealer for X? And can you get me a demo? We're thinking about putting 7 of them in classrooms. And, I'll have one, that dealer rep will walk in my door with a demo and said, you got this for 2 weeks to play with. And I didn't have to go out, find the manufacturer and sign all these contracts or anything like that to get that. So like I said, we have a good relationship with our dealers, and with more than one, with several, and we try to keep it that way. We've had some that, since we're doing our own stuff, they don't want to deal with this anymore. They're still friendly, they call, ask how things are going, but they don't respond to any of our bids because they want to make their money on the engineering side. And I understand that. If that's the way they want to do it, that's fine. My feelings aren't hurt that they're not bidding on my products or projects, but
it's making sure that that, like you said, it's maintaining a relationship. We have a similar thing in which there's a couple of really good integrators that we like talking with. We'll buy products from, but when it comes to, we'll bid out a project and, we've got we've got a renovation coming up and we're talking about like 20 rooms, and they just flat out have told us, yeah, we're not interested in doing it. And I went, why? And they went, well, you've already got the drawings, you've already got the, you already have the wires being pulled by the GC. So pretty much we're just building the racks and just terminating stuff. I'm like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we're not going to make that much on the labor. So on the boxes. So it's one of those things where, we'll still give you a decent discount and we'll still do, the little onesie twosie projects, but big stuff we're not going for. And like you said, it's maintaining it's maintaining a relationship status kind of thing, and I think that's how a lot of integrators going forward are going to be kind of more maintaining their business, is via it's not always going to be a service contract so much as it's almost a relationship maintenance.
Right.
And as I say, anyone who's seen the IT crowd means yes. What are you? I'm the relationship manager. What? But it's pretty much become an actual term. So yeah, that's, as I say, so that is that on that one. The next article we got is this was from Campus Technology, and it was Facebook's Oculus division, which Oculus was acquired by Facebook, are working on a wireless VR headset, which is kind of cool. Right now, I can, do you either of you guys dabbled with VR?
Truthfully, no, not much in the classroom area yet.
Okay. Ernie?
We haven't either. And, I looked at it and I laughed at first, but then I think of all the different things in AV that I've laughed at over the years. I go back, I've probably used this example before, but why did Daylight put a network jack on a projection screen? That's so stupid to me. But now our help desk can go into a classroom and say, the screen is down or the screen's at 50%. I need to raise it, need to lower it. And I don't have to send the technician to go get the screen out of the way or to lower the screen because the instructor can't find the switch on the wall. We can do it remotely, and we can make sure it's ready, make sure the room is ready to go for an instructor walking in. So, I think this is the same way. I don't see an application right now in our classrooms, but once again, we're doing, we do surgery training and, other things like that. So maybe there is something not too far in the future for us. But
well, this one I can attest to. Currently within our art department, we're oddly enough, renovating our old dark rooms and turning them into VR labs. And they installed a couple of these. I don't remember the manufacturer off the top of my head. However, it's a wired setup, and more of the point was you had these two kind of wireless little remote sticks, and those were the things that you would use to pick up things or move or what have you. It's essentially like having two Wii remotes. And the thing is that they also had to install two IR emitters, which, you go, okay, well, what's the point of that? Well, the IR emitters would actually set you use that to set the amount of space that you would actually had to walk around and move around in. The only trouble is that because they're IR emitters and they're at a certain frequency, because I kept saying, well, please, I can go get an IR blaster from, like, say, Zantac or something. And they said, no, it actually has to run back to it has to be a specific manufacturer and this and that. And it turns out, though, we're actually having to set up dividers between the labs, which kind of throws everything into a bit of a cluster, because the dark rooms themselves aren't that big to begin with. And they went, oh, here, we'll just throw it in everywhere. And no, instead we're having to set up dividers in order to block the IR emitters, so that everyone has literally their own virtual playground. So
you have a virtual physical playground.
Yes, I have to set up physical dividers for a virtual playground. But
hey, Bill, what department is using this? What department is using these rooms?
That is actually our art department. So It's kind of weird. We actually have it where right now our art department got this, like, I want to say, like, almost 2 months ago. So they're currently using, I think Valve had has like a VR simulation lab to play around with, and then they're going to start building things. Oh, geez, back in the day I would have said it was Maya, but I know there's other 3D programs that they're using that they're going to use in conjunction. And the eventual goal is that they're going to essentially do like VR sculpting. I know that was one of the plans that they were going to have. And then the thing that I find interesting is that eventually I think the end goal is that they will shape or sculpt the stuff using a VR headset, and then port that file over to a 3D printer. So it's one of those ones where it's really going to turn into, oh yeah, no, you know what? Like it would be actually a kind of a fun thing for on the AV side, because it suddenly goes and says, hey, we don't have a plate, but we need it to do exactly this. Okay, put on the VR headset, and everyone suddenly becomes a virtual carpenter.
Right.
So I can see some potential with this one. And in Ernie's case especially, this will probably end up being especially true, is if they'll end up being VR surgery training sessions and things like that, or VR VR surgery, things of that nature, possibly even how do you help assist with a laparoscopic surgery or something like that. There are ways where I can see that can be augmented in the classroom. Aside from that, I don't know. I think it's just kind of interesting. I actually tried out the headset, and that thing is, if you're not used to it, it is kind of funny, because they give you like little earbud headphones, which are like, really? All right, well, whatever. I mean, the audiophile in me says this could be done better, but whatever. However, the goggle headset, yeah, you can. As I say, I think the setup actually put me on a mountain/cliffside, and if you weren't careful, you really could get a good case of vertigo. I mean, it's still in the infant stages, but man, it's definitely impressive. So
nice.
Me personally, I believe there's actually some real interesting growth potential for that. It's just a matter of how do I once again building out physical dividers for virtual playgrounds. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Yep.
So let's see here. The other article that popped up. This is from Penswire. It's Infocom partners with Bogota's Secretary of Education to offer CTS classes or AV classes for students in Colombia. It's kind of an interesting take. mostly in the fact that I know it's part of, the general push right now is to definitely, get folks while they're young. It's just kind of interesting to see it at this scope and scale and everything. Ernie, what do you think about this?
I think it's very exciting. Infocom has tried for years and years to get into community colleges with their classes, and very limited success in that. This is hitting 10th and 11th grade high school students, which is probably, I think, a better target group to get people interested and get them started in the industry. And someone talks about when they finish their class, they got to go into an internship and then end up with a job after that. I think it's a great way to get people into the industry, let the students become interested in it. I can pretty much guarantee you I would have taken one of these classes, even though I was more leaning towards the broadcasting side when I was in high school. We actually had a TV studio at my high school that I was director producer in. But I would have loved to have had something like this, I was the nerd that loaded the 16 millimeter projector.
Ernie, you're hitting the nail on the head with that one. I went to a college prep high school, but man, if they had offered something like this, I would have gotten in, because it's one of those it's visual, and at that age, everyone's very much in the here, check this out, and it's really kind of get them while they're young. Maneuver, and I think it's great. As I say, Mike, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think, relating it to the school district in my town here, they have some technical training classes in the high school there. They have a little drafting concentration you can take, that sort of thing. But really, a lot of that gets offloaded to the vocational schools that are in the area. So that the high school students that go to those vocational schools for like auto repair, that sort of thing, they have an IT program there, and I think it would be a really good fit in those schools for those students, at least just the basic classes, and maybe just supplementing the IT training that they can get there. It doesn't have to be an entire, I guess, major concentration in AV, but at least supplementing the IT. So when they go into the working world and work at a help desk somewhere, they have some AV experience too. So I think it'll be a good fit.
It definitely is. In fact, we actually had a couple of students who've graduated from our broadcast division, our communications school, and one of them actually ended up getting a job at CNN. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, man. How about how's it going and everything?" He said, "Yeah." He's like, "I kind of got in by the seat of my pants, because they kind of told me that pretty much CNN is planning on hiring folks that have like a CCNA, and they're like, the video's good, but they're like, you need to understand the networking." So relating that back, I think that the younger you can kind of hook folks on these things, the better it works out. You obviously in other schools they are putting in computer programming, but it's nice to see. It's good to see, at least from Columbia's perspective and everything. It's hey, we're gonna start putting kids into at least teaching them about AV, teaching them about how video signals work, how this all relates and everything. And it's a better, as long as there's a focus on understanding the technicals and everything. I think that actually helps round people out, because Lord knows if I was at the public high school in my hometown, and you told me I had the option between wood shop and taking an AV, a professional AV course or something like that, I'd be like, oh my God, give me the TV. Not knocking wood shop, because really there are times where I wish I was a better carpenter. But that's what you have community theater for. But it's once again, it's I think it's good in the fact that they're offering kids options and everything, and it just gives them it's something to help get them in, as I put, at a younger age. So that's really the bottom line of it. Before we wrap up, I do want to mention something else that we had going on with AVNation, and that is the AVNation Awards. This is a first this year. It's the 2016 AVNation Awards. I believe that can be found at avnation.tv or at the header of this website. by all means, I suggest everybody go in. We actually believe have some things tailored for tech managers as well as integrators and the illustrious consultants.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. But that being said, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's the first year for this. It's a bit of an informal one. However, this is definitely driven by the people, and I think folks should really take a look at that and really get into it. That aside, Mr. Tomei, you have any closing comments here?
No closing comments. I guess if people wanna find me out there, I'm always on LinkedIn, and my website is tomeav.com. That's TOMEIAV.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mr. Bailey?
I don't really have any closing remarks either, but you can find me also on LinkedIn.
Fair enough. So as I say, as always, I'm Bill O'Donnell. You can find me on Twitter as well as LinkedIn. I'm usually pretty responsive to both. And so this has been, as I say, this has been EdTech. We will see you next month.